Good. Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from SkiEssentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Bob and I are back today to do another 2020 ski review. This time we're looking at the 2020 Volkl Mantra 102. Pretty exciting. We don't actually have the ski with us here today, unfortunately. We did get an early release of the Kendo 88, which we reviewed way back in the middle of the ski season. And then we also, I believe we have next year's M5 Mantra as well, which is just a graphics update. That ski doesn't change at all. But there's also a new Mantra 102. So Bob skied it quite a bit. I only got to ski it, I think, like once or twice this past season, so we brought Bob in for this review. It basically follows the same kind of pattern as the Kendo 88.
Mm-hmm.
So it uses the Titanal frame that we saw for the first time this past season in the M5 Mantra. Really cool construction. We've talked a lot about that. We have an M5 Mantra review on YouTube or on Chairlift Chat as well. Follows that same trend, multi-layer wood core like Volkl uses a lot, Titanal frame, and then they also, the Mantra 102 is getting that new 3D radius side cut that we saw in the Kendo 88. So pretty exciting stuff. I think that turn radius is really cool, the 3D radius. We talked about that a lot in the Kendo 88, but it gives it a unique feel, which we'll get to. But I think this Mantra 102 and that Kendo, it rounds out the collection really nicely. Because within kind of the same shape, construction, and overall feel, you've now got 88, 96, 102. So I know in the written review that you did, you kind of mentioned skiers that were disappointed to see the Mantra go down in waist width size last year. So the previous version was 100 underfoot. Now that Mantra, or the M5 Mantra, is 96 underfoot. And there were definitely some skiers that were like, hey, like I want 100 underfoot, blah, 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 blah. So now you basically got one, the Mantra 102. And it's a really cool ski. So let's just jump right into it because I think people are pretty familiar with construction and just the theme of Volkl skis right now. First impressions on the Mantra 102. What'd you think?
I was a little hesitant at first.
Sure.
You get on the chairlift and we had the demo binding on it too. So definitely some weight to it. And all of those kind of fears or apprehensions went away, first couple of turns.
Sure.
You wouldn't think that a ski that heavy would react as quickly, but it does. And whether that's that 3D radius or just the shape and the build of the ski, I don't really care. What I cared about was that you leaned into your boot and put it on edge, and the thing just started going. And it did not care what was in front of it. It went over and through everything. So, that weight, even though it's a trade-off in terms of quickness, we always see a trade-off. If it's light, it's going to be quick, but not necessarily stable, and vice versa. So this 102 really took that stability to the nth degree, and the faster you went, the more it smoothed out, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, you mentioned that it felt like it had more heft, maybe a little bit more stability than the M5 Mantra, just due to the fact that it's wider. You think that was pretty noticeable?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I wrote, if there's an extra 6 millimeters of material throughout the whole course of the ski, it's going to add up to, there's just more material, there's more mass to the ski, so you can definitely feel it when you're making your turns, but still pretty nimble, especially when you're in that center part of the radius where it's a shorter turn. You can get it around pretty quick. So bumps or trees, I mean, it was pretty firm when I was skiing on them. But even so, the trees were accessible and fun.
Sure.
So it wasn't.
So you're kind of keeping more of a balanced stance, maintaining that center of the side cut. And let's go off that for a little bit. Did you find that you were able to kind of make different carving turn shapes? Because that's something that I really liked about the Kendo 88, is it kind of dependent on how you were weighting the ski. I found that I was able to lengthen or shorten the turn radius, specifically in a carving turn you know, in that carving term instead of washing a turn or skidding a turn. Did you find the same thing with the Mantra 102?
Yeah, same with the 102. I didn't find when we skied that Kendo 88, it wasn't a intuitive feeling for me the first run or two with that side cut, but I figured it out after 4 or 5 runs.
It does. There is a bit of a learning curve to it.
I think so, yeah.
But it's not a slow process.
No,
for me, it really I had a bit of a revelation probably on my third run on the Kendo 88, and was kind of like, oh, I get it now. So 3 runs isn't that bad. I mean, for me, that was like over the course of a week and a half or something. So it felt a little bit long, but if you just bought one and went and skied it, you're going to figure it out in the morning of the first day. And I think it's really cool. So pretty much endless stability.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, the faster you went, the more it seemed to stable out.
Yep.
And it kept wanting to go faster, which was fine because it was so stable.
Yep.
Normally I wouldn't, keep pushing it, but definitely felt like it could handle it.
Pretty quick, pretty responsive for something that's 102 underfoot.
Yeah, 102 and pretty heavy. It was pretty, it was precise. So you definitely had to put your input into the ski in order to get that response out.
Yep. Now, do you remember what length you skied?
I was on the 184.
Okay.
Which, by the numbers, I should probably be on the 191. But I think, especially for around here, in the east, tighter trees and more turns to be had, that 184 was a better length for me.
Now, would you feel pretty comfortable buying or choosing or if you had the option of using that ski as your daily driver, everyday ski? Feel pretty good about it?
I would feel pretty good about it. I like lighter skis personally.
Sure. Yep.
But there's a couple guys here at the end of the year that got their hands on one, and they were lighter and smaller.
Yeah.
But they have racing backgrounds.
Yep.
Which I don't have, and so they loved it. They were all they were 100% in on this thing as their stow ski.
Yeah. I pretty much asked that question because one of the testers from our 2020 ski test, and I just know this because we've been processing ski test results, Evan, he did mention that for him, I think he was only like 140, 150 pounds.
Yeah.
And he was saying it might be a little bit fatiguing over a long day of skiing. But I think that's okay, given what you gain out of that stability. I think it's okay that it's tiring. Skiing's not like super easy. I'm fine getting tired over a day of skiing.
Right. It's an athletic activity.
Yeah. So, cool. And you mentioned you did okay on it in woods.
Yeah.
It's not...
No, it's fine.
I think, just kind of in reference to rocker profile,
it
doesn't have a ton of rocker.
Right.
It's not like some skis we look at, I'm thinking of DPS, Rossi, Sky 7, something like that. It's really not that much rocker or that pronounced rocker, but you found it did just fine.
It doesn't swivel like a Sky or a Soul 7 will.
Okay.
But it definitely, again, the input is a big part of it, so you do have to work a little harder. And just back to the fatiguing thing, the most tiring it felt was hanging off my feet on the chairlift. When I was skiing on it, it didn't feel as heavy, but when I got on the chairlift and it just, you could feel it pulling at your legs.
It's like the type of ski that's tiring, walking from your car to the lodge and sitting on the chair, and other than that, not really.
Yeah, it hurt my shoulders to carry.
Sure.
That was about it. When it's on your feet and you're standing on it and skiing, it doesn't feel like it's as heavy as it feels on the lift.
Awesome. So safe to say it's probably not an intermediate ski?
Safe to say, yes.
I'd say even an advanced skier, it's the type of thing where you should really take a moment to assess your own ability and what you want out of a ski to determine whether it's right for you. I'd say I'd probably recommend it more for the aggressive skier than, I know a lot of advanced skiers who don't ski tremendously fast.
Yeah.
Might not be the best choice for them, but it kind of comes down to your own personal skiing style, technique, what you like.
Yeah.
Like Benny up at Inner Boot Works, He's an older guy for more traditional skiing style, for those that don't know Benny. But he loved it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't consider him like particularly wild or aggressive or adventurous, but he has really good established skiing technique.
Yeah, very smooth.
And he really liked it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks, Bob. That's the Mantra 102. Another exciting new ski for 2020. There's lots of them. We're getting pretty close to when we're going to do some comparison videos and articles, which will be really fun because there are quite a few new skis for 2020. But in the meantime, let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you guys on the slopes.
Bye.